In this lesson, we're going to learn about how to print documents, envelopes, and labels. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Print Preview. And Print Preview is a nice feature that allows you to see exactly how it's going to print specific to the printer that you've chosen, because every printer has different margins. Any of your standard printers that you would use inside school or even at home or even in the workplace, they're going to have what's called a margin. They can't print completely to the edge of the page. And Print Preview does a nice job of showing you exactly what the document will look like before you print it. And this is, in the age of everything going green, this is a nice feature that you can see exactly on screen how it's going to print before you print it and say, oh, that's not what I wanted it to look like, and then you throw it in the trash can. I have a document open here which is a business letter, and I'm going to go ahead and up on my toolbar I'm going to click on the Print Preview button. And what it does is it opens up and shows me my first two pages, and you can see it zooms out on the entire page so you can see exactly how that particular page is going to print. Now here in OpenOffice we have a couple different tools. We can go to the next page by clicking the next page button. Okay, and these buttons here allow you to go to either the beginning of the document or the end of the document. If you have a lot of pages, you can actually come here to what's called the multi-page preview, and I could say, you know what, I want to see 3 pages across, and what it'll do is take those 3 pages and put them across for me so I can see all 3 pages on my screen at one time. The next button over here is the ability to do what's called a book preview. If I go back to just 2 pages, what it does is it opens it up like a book, so the first page is just to the right. When I go to the next page, it opens up the next 2, just like if you were reading a book. Okay. Once you are done previewing it, you can send it directly to the printer using this button. Okay. Or if I'm done, I can close my preview and I can go back and make any changes that I need to, and then go to File Print. Okay, so I'm going to come down here to File Print. Let's just talk a little bit about this dialog box. Up here is where you're going to select your printer. If you're in a place like school or even at home, if you have multiple printers, you always want to verify that you're printing to the correct printer. Okay, you get to choose how many copies that you want, and you can also print specific pages. So if you really only needed page 2, you can come down here, click pages, and say I only want page 2, and then click OK, and it will allow you to do that. So there again, it's another feature where you're not wasting paper. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of my print preview. Alright, the next piece that we want to talk about is the ability to print an envelope, and you can actually insert an envelope directly into your document so that it prints the envelope and then prints the letter. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go to Insert, and then we have a choice called Envelope. And when I click on that, it brings up a little window here, and I am going to type in my information here. So and I'm also going to put my return address, so P.O. Box. Alright, at this point I have 2 choices. I can either make it a brand new document, which makes it a new page all by itself, or I can press Insert, which actually puts it with my letter. So in this case, I'm going to press the Insert button, and you'll see that it added an envelope above my current letter. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you something else here. I'm actually going to undo that, so I'm going to use my undo button. Okay? And I'm going to go to Insert Envelope again. Now, it kept my information, but one of the things that we need to take a look at is this Format tab, and we have to choose the correct envelope size. Okay? So you'll see currently it's C6/5. We typically use number 10 envelopes. Those are the longer envelopes that most mail comes in as a number 10 envelope. So I'm going to click Insert again, and you see that I have a little bit longer envelope here. Okay. At this point, you can make any formatting changes. Usually for the Postal Service, I like to make my font size a little bit larger so it's a little bit more readable. Okay. When you go to insert the envelope into the printer, there's almost always on a printer what's called a bypass tray, usually a tray that flips down. And if you look on the printer, it'll tell you exactly how to stick the envelope in. They'll show a little picture and where the stamp is. And you just make sure that you feed the envelope the correct way, and it will print just fine. Okay. Let's say that you wanted to create a brand new document. For instance, you had something you wanted to mail and you just wanted to create an envelope. If I go to Insert Envelope again, this time, instead of saying that I want to insert it, I'm going to say I want it as a new document. And now you'll see that it creates a brand new document, and the only thing in my document is that envelope, so I can print off that envelope, put my mail in there, and send it away. Alright, so I'm going to close out of that. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to make labels. Labels work very similar to the envelope, except that we're going to create a brand new document to do our labels. So I'm going to go to Text, Document, and I'm going to go to File, New, and one of my choices is Labels. And you'll see that it brings up the same very similar dialog box that I had with my envelopes. So I'm going to put my address in here real quick. And once again, I have to choose what my label type is. And if you buy labels at the store, especially Avery, what they'll do is they'll give you an exact number that you can use. Okay, and what we can choose here is Avery letter size. That's what we use here in the States. And a very popular address label is the 2160. Okay, even if you buy an off-brand label, they'll almost always give the Avery equivalent, because Avery is sort of the standard in labels. Alright, so I've got my label text, I've got my correct label size. I'm going to click New Document, and what it does is it takes those labels and it puts them on the sheet for me, and I could then send that to the printer and it would print correctly on those labels.